stand for pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Present.
Chapman.
Present.
Hart.
Present.
Bear.
Present.
Tyler.
Present.
Susie.
Present. And just for the record, Bob is excused absence. I'll accept the motion to approve the agenda of September 12th as presented.
So moved. Support.
I'd like to make some changes to the agenda. Under new business, I'd like to add D, FOIA policy. E, burning of leaves. F, purchase of leaf vac. And G, White Lane on Old State Street. And then I would accept the motion to approve the agenda of September 12, 2013 as amended.
So moved. Support.
Motion by Clark, motion by Batterby, support by Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Accept the motion to approve the minutes of the August 8th, 2013 regular meeting.
I wasn't in it.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of December 2008.
Support. Motion by Chapman, support by Thayer. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Any public comment? Go.
Yeah, I just wanted to compliment the DPW on the cleaning out of the hill down there on Herrick Street. It looks very good. They worked very hard at it, so I just wanted them to get the recognition for that. And the other thing was the sidewalk situation I mentioned last time. That's been taken care of, and so I wanted to compliment Chief Barrett on stepping in there, I guess, and talking to whoever. And there's been no parking on the sidewalk, so that's good. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Any other public comment?
I have one. I would like to know if this is our only public comment regarding the DDA, the list that has been chosen.
Could you state your name, please?
Susie McGuire, President of Central Lake Chamber.
Give me 1 second, Susan.
Uh-huh.
I believe at a later point in the meeting, we're going to get presented with names for the DDA board, so
Will there be a discussion so I can have a comment then?
I would make comments now.
Okay, all right. Do we have the list? How
It hasn't
many?
been presented to me yet, I believe.
How many's on there?
10 or 11, to my knowledge, I don't know.
Okay. Can someone communicate with me and let me know, as president of the chamber, I've not been notified, as a chamber board member been appointed?
I don't know who's on the chamber right now.
You're a
I
chamber
have the
member.
information. What's that?
You're a chamber member?
Yes, I am a chamber member. I'm sure there
Well,
has been,
is-
I don't know, I don't like being put in the spot. I'm here to present something to the board.
Okay, I understand that, I just would like to know if I could see the list, to see if there's someone else. And the reason for that, my question is to have liaison between the Central Lake Chamber. I'd like to see a board member on there for that. I would also like to see a member of the Village Planning Commission on there to keep the communication open as a liaison between the village. Before you make your decision, I just think it should be open to the public. And perhaps maybe you would have to table the appointees or whoever. I mean, if you haven't seen it as the village president, I just guess I'm a little concerned.
That's what we're here for, though. That's why we operate as a
Okay,
council.
but not, okay, that's, I understand that, but, you know, do you just make a decision, and if you, how does that work?
It's
I
up
mean,
to
you're just gonna approve whoever they want on there? I mean, don't think I'm against the DD, that's not my point. My point is, I think possibly to have a greater liaison between the chamber and the planning commission to involve things. My question, my concern is maybe it should be tabled and we should discuss it.
Okay, we'll discuss it at that point. Thank you.
Okay,
Patty?
Okay, if this is the only opportunity for public comment on the DDA thing, then I do have a question. The Michigan Association of Planning excerpt states, and I think you provided the excerpt on the DDA, because of the variety of powerful financing tools authorized for use by the DDA, it is important that this plan be well conceived and include input from all interested and
Ma'am,
affected parties.
I'm sorry, could you stand and give us your name, please?
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Leland,
Yes.
Leland.
No, it isn't required.
I'll conduct the meeting.
A DDA can affect rapid and significant changes in an area. However, these changes can induce controversy and unexpected results if they are not based on a careful analysis of market demands and constituent interests. So my question is, when and how do you plan to elicit and encourage participation from all the interested and affected parties? I noticed in the announcements that I saw anyway, the only people invited were downtown business owners.
Okay, you have to start somewhere. So we need a board. Thank you. Any other public comment?
Yes, I have something I'd like to say. And it is kind of like what these ladies are saying. I don't understand why we never, I mean, I live in the village, my name is Julie Marks. And lately, we never get notified of anything. Like, I woke up one day, looked out my front window, and they're tearing up my sidewalk. And I had no knowledge, nobody came and knocked on my door, nothing. And here we go, I have one big mess in the front of my yard, and there's no communication between the villagers who are basically paying your salaries and the residents. And it's happened more than once, where there's been absolutely no communication between the village council and the residents of Central Lake. That's one of my biggest concerns. Now, I know you're going to talk about the fire, burning leaves and things. I just heard lately that there is no burning in the village. Is that correct?
We're gonna discuss it later in the meeting.
Good, because you better have a good answer on where all these leaves are gonna go and who's gonna pick them up. Because on West State Street, there are thousands of maple trees. We have leaves up to our knees. So, and I'm not carting them to the township dump. That's ridiculous. So hopefully you have an answer for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? We will close public comment at this time. Reports, Scott?
Thank you. Hopefully everybody get a chance to look at the monthly report for August. There's a breakdown on the left-hand side, just like normal, includes mileage and stuff like that. Pretty busy, a little bit busier than the last couple months. At the bottom, a couple highlights, assisted. You'll see that we assisted Elk Rapids Police Department with Harbor Days. And the reason we do that is they send a car up to help us during 4th of July. We send a car down to help them during their busy time. So it's kind of a trade-off. We are deputized in the county, so we are able to go from one village to the other and still help out. So it's kind of a courtesy thing, but it helps out for small departments when you don't have a lot of manpower to elicit technically some free help. So that's why you'll see that on there. We hosted the Chiefs meeting, which is biannual or bi-monthly. It happened to be in Central Lake a couple weeks last month. Then our prosecutor's funeral, we assisted with the honor guard part of that. So The last one I put down there, spending a lot of time on open complaints, and somebody asked me the other day, are we busy? And I'm like, for some reason we are. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know if it's the moon or the season or whatever, but, and I just simply pulled out last year's complaints, and as of August 31st, we were 11% higher than we were complaint-wise last year. Which is, I don't know why. It's just, we're busy, and I can't explain it. It's not a certain day of the week, it's not a certain time, it's just all the time. And one of the things is, you know, we're trying to do more with less, and I hear a lot of, I don't say it's whining, but it's a lot of people that are concerned about, you know, what's going on. And for some reason lately, ordinance issues have been a really big concern, and I believe it's an issue, but, you know, we have to handle what we have to handle when we can handle it. And, you know, sometimes things of lower priority take the back burner, and, you know, when you're handling 11% more complaints with less people, it's kind of hard. So we're trying to do the best we can, more help, or more with less help and stuff like that. So, and if somebody can figure that out, I'd like to know, because it's, but, so, and we definitely, I mean, you know, when we do get complaints, we'll try to get to them as soon as we can, so. Besides that, one night, and I'll have Al and Bob to explain that, but Al and Bob, I just got notice today that Al Burnett and Bob Burnett, they took the first place trophy for Michigan Police Shoot this morning, so I'm sure they'll be here next month and show you the big trophies. So. Any questions? Great, thank you.
Dan, DPW?
Everybody should have a copy of DPW operation number 3, replacing water meters. We pretty much used up all the stock we had in the shop, so we just ordered 16 new ones. So we will be, when we get time, we'll get them put in. Number 6 is the lawnmower, Wrigley lawnmower broke down. And then I wanted to go down to the pickups, number 15. The reason it doesn't say we ordered the half-ton is because the 16th of this month, 2014, half-ton pickups are out, so we're just gonna wait till the 16th and order new. They figured the price, there'd be no change in price on that one. And number 20, I don't know if anybody noticed, but we put 2 new weight limit signs up on the bridge. State mandated that we had to get that put on there. Any questions? And we have been extremely busy, and next month will be the same way.
What's the delivery date on the 3/4 ton?
We're hoping somewhere right around the 1st of November. And then the half ton should only be like a 6 to 10 week waiting period on that one. So they both should come in pretty close same time.
Any other questions for Sam? Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Lyle, Kemper?
Well, last month of August was down from July, but we did have 149 reservations for the month of August. We took in approximately $10,500 in the month of August. So we had a pretty good month. It's slowed up now. We've got several campers in. I've got a couple in today right now, so it looks like it's going to be a fair month for September if this weather don't change too drastically. Other than that, I'm taking a breather.
Well,
So,
any questions for Lyle? Thank you, Lyle. Correspondence, I have some of them through quickly here, I hope. A couple on email. One was from Joe Renner. I'm sending this to see if the email response system is working better, but also to ask a question. I prefer to use this manner of communication rather than asking at the council meeting, as it allows for more thorough and thoughtful response and does not take up time at the meeting. Would the council consider forming ad hoc advisory-only committees, which would include some non-council members, for the specific purpose, case, or situation at hand, and for no other, for specific projects, in order to possibly get better support of residents, greater understanding by residents, a wider range of opinions and questions that might be raised? For example, the house situation. It presented an ideal opportunity to involve more residents and to get different ideas and perspectives of other interested people, especially since there were no time constraints to get this done immediately. The animus in the community and the extra meeting now revolving around the house situation may have been reduced or avoided. Traverse City just established 2 such committees, though comprised of various commission members and other elected appointed representatives. Please consider ODAC committees. I await your response. The only reason I didn't respond was because it truly was directed to the council.
Right.
So I'm sure the council will definitely consider.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that's gonna happen very often, but a special situation where you have time to think through more people involved. Like,
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Okay.
Second question was from Brad Glasgow. It was revealed some time ago that the water meter of the car wash downtown did not work. Has that meter been replaced? And I responded with, yes, it has. We have 3 notices of hearings from Consumers Energy. One is for approval of its amended energy optimization plan. One is to grant accounting approval associated with investment in certain generating units. And the third one is approval to reconcile the total electric utility revenues collected from those electric customers who paid provisional rates implemented by Consumers Energy between March 19, 2013 and May 15, 2013, with the total revenues that would have been produced by the Commission's May 15, 2013 order in case number U-17087. So anybody interested in attending, I have the dates and times. We received a letter from the Michigan Municipal League. Dear League members, we want to thank you for your continued commitment to the Michigan Municipal League. Enclosed is your 2013-14 membership certificate, which we hope you will display proudly. It is because of your support that the League is able to advocate successfully for communities across Michigan. The League is the one clear voice for Michigan communities. We are here to aid you through our legislative and judicial advocacy, our educational opportunities for elected and appointed officials, and our many service offerings. We hope you will take full advantage of your League membership by exploring all that we have to offer. And then the rest is information on how to contact them. So we have the plaque proudly displayed in the office, right? The other one is, and I just got this today, so I apologize, you got it at the last minute. The MML joins into a partnership and does haven't into much, and they believe they can purchase natural gas cheaper for us at our facility. So they're asking for some information. The information they're asking for now does not commit it. It says, letter of authorization, this allows us to negotiate with gas suppliers on your behalf. It does not commit you to join the program. So have a chance to look at it, let me know if we want to. My personal opinion is we should supply them with the information they want if they truly can supply us with a better price. Sam's got it too, Sam will do some looking on it too, I think, so we'll let you know when we do that. But we won't commit to anything other than supply with information they can use to try to negotiate better prices. Third one, I would like to move it down to new business, actually. There's a parliamentary procedures workshop being held in Traverse City on October 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. I've talked to Nate, chair of the planning commission. Personally, I think it'd probably be a good idea if I went as chair of this board, Nate went as chair of that, and maybe somebody from the chamber if they're interested. I think it's a good program, but we'll probably can discuss it under new business. I think it'd be probably good for all of us. That is all I have under correspondence. If nobody has anything else. We will move on to committee reports. Rob.
We're still ongoing with the lights. We're moving forward. Everything's going fine there. Streets, the north side of Old State Road, that's item number G, so I'm not going to be redundant. We're going to talk about that later. Sidewalks. Julie, I don't know your last name. I'm sorry I didn't go smoothly in front of your house. It was, in our defense, it was published on the website, and it was in the Antrim County Review. I wish I could tell you that a certain day we're going to be in front of your house, but there's weather constraints. There's a water main break at the campground, so when those gentlemen are gonna be there, is really, anything can happen on any day, and they have to pull their team off of one item to go do something else, and
I
then back up.
understand that, and I mean, we get the Antrim Review, and I never read it in there, I must have missed it. But I think since we're such a little village and and we're here 12 months out of the year, we don't go away, that we could be notified. How hard would it be to notify people so that people who can't afford the newspaper and stuff would be, you know,
I agree.
notified that it was done? It's happening more and more. It's no different than a year ago when you raised the sewer taxes.
I can only speak about sidewalks.
You know, but anyways.
Again, I apologize.
And the sidewalk it's not really level, it's a mushy mess. And the worst thing is, I heard that you did it because of, you know, the sidewalks are bumpy, I understand. But now I've got little children with their tricycles and all riding in the street because there's no sidewalks for quite a ways where I live. So here the moms are trying to crowd their little kids on their tricycles in two-wheelers right out in the middle of West Old State, or West State Street, and we're a trucker route. We have these great big trucks coming down the street.
And I understand it completely. It was advised by our attorney regarding the sidewalks that if we kept them unlevel as they were, we would be open to a large liability suit if someone were to become injured. And I understand it's the lesser of two evils. Now we've got kids playing in the streets.
Right.
And there is no perfect way to fix this, and we are looking into more monies at the end of the year, if it is available, replacing some sidewalks. And that's really all I can tell you right now.
Now, and I also heard that the village owns the sidewalk totally?
It's an easement.
No, I know that I always have assumed that the easement was past the sidewalk. Now, and I've heard, you know how little towns are, you hear things, that the sidewalk is the village's responsibility. Is that true?
Correct.
So the village residents have no responsibility for that sidewalk at all? That when you go to put a new sidewalk in, you will be paying for all of it?
As you mean the property owner, is that what you mean when you say the
Right.
person you? The property owner, if they wanted a sidewalk, they'd have to pay for it out of their own funds, and they would have to maintain that sidewalk. And that means the overhead limbs, the roots underneath it.
We've been doing that, believe you me. I'm one of the houses that there's no garbage or nothing sitting around by us.
Well, I appreciate it, and you can call me or email me, and I will come out and look at your sidewalk if you feel that some work, or if you feel that
Well,
there's
we could
something
stand a
wrong.
lot more grassy,
Well, if you need more grass, we can take a peek at it, all right?
would you?
I will.
You know, but also, like I said, it's a very much of a concern to me when I sit on my front porch and watch these little kids in the street.
I agree.
You know, it's very upsetting.
I couldn't agree more, and there's, like I said,
You
liability.
know, and the thing that we never get notified. Yeah, you say it's in the paper, but how many people buy the Antrim Review? You know, and how many residents are there here, and, you know, where you could have just sent out a notice? I didn't say you had to pick a date, but at least tell you this was the decision that was made and we're gonna tear up your sidewalk.
All right, I'll keep that in mind, and I appreciate it.
Please, would you?
I will. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Rob? Thank you, Rob. Sewer and water, Rob.
As Sam stated, they've been pretty busy. All of the exterior outdoor water meters have been replaced. Now they're working on indoor ones as soon as we receive the new ones. Sam went with a DEQ on the wastewater system. They're waiting up for a follow-up on the analysis of that. And they repaired one lift station. They installed two new sewer pumps. And other than that, that's about it.
Any questions from Rob? Thank you, Rob. Bill, law enforcement.
I think Chief covered it pretty well. I know he's been busy with the festivities in our area and also in the neighboring areas that mutual aid with us. I did hear that Al and Bob had taken the trophy back again. We had it here before last, Al and I did, and so we're glad to see that coming back. I think that's all I have, Bill. Appreciate the good job he's doing.
Any questions for Bill? Thank you, Bill. Denise, communication?
The only thing I have is I was gonna comment on Mrs. Marks' issue regarding the communication about the sidewalk issue. And I think we'd all agree it'd be a good idea for the next time something like that is happening, send out a notice to the property owners involved. It wouldn't cost us, the cost wouldn't be that great, and agreed.
I think we all have any disagreement on that, Denise.
That's all I got.
Any questions? Thank you. Joe Bodley isn't here, he's been out of town for the last week. Legal part?
Okay, this is on the park. We're decided we're gonna put some new brochures out. This is just samples, so that they're not available right now. But the board is gonna take a look at them and see what they want to decide, if they're okay. That's not the material that we're gonna use on it. This is the material that we'll be using on it. It's a different paperwork, that's just, yeah. So take a look at those. I have some new pictures instead of those that are on them. Scott took some pictures yesterday, so we've got them available to put on the brochures. And up to you if you want me to make the decision on the pictures, or do you want to make them yourselves? And this is the bill that will be presented. That's for you. That front really looks nice on those. We did a nice job of the front. And on the back also, with the instructions and the maps and so forth. We did a real good job. But the pictures inside, we need, those are old pictures, so we'd like to put some new ones on. We got some real nice ones here to look at.
The camper doesn't belong to
Yeah, yeah, and the difference there. If you wanted to look at these pictures, there's 2 sets of them. Like I said, you did a real good job on those. I think those are going to be by far better to use on the inside.
The older ones kind of give a little character.
Yeah, they do. They tell you what it used to be. And as far as the, here, you can take a look at those down there. And for the revision, I'll wait until we have that for the new business, okay? I think Lab's doing a fantastic job in the park. I go down through there almost every day and greet people, and they're so pleased with the way he's handling it. He's very vocal, he's out there to meet the people, he talks to them. They got a complaint, he's there to listen, and he handles it. And I gotta commend him, he is doing a fantastic job. Thank you.
Agreed.
Yes.
And the new slides in at the park, I
Yes.
tell you, Levi. We just finished that up.
Did you just finish that up? Oh, good.
Yeah, there's that
Yeah.
picture on there.
Oh,
I was gonna
wasn't
put that in my report and forgot. So I'm telling you.
That's all right.
Yep. That's my fault for not telling you.
They're using it too.
Yep.
Good. We gradually, we're going to be making, hopefully making improvements on the shower up there in the restroom, the bathrooms up there on the park. That's about all I have right now.
Did, Jack, please?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Nice.
So do we have the, okay, do I have the okay to go ahead and put the pictures on there for?
I like this one the way you have it, Leila, to be honest with you.
I do too.
I like the retro.
Do you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gives us some character.
Well, that's up to you if you decide
Everything
you'd
from
rather
the
keep.
40s and the 50s to
Yeah.
the present, so.
If you want to keep it that way, all you gotta do is tell me so.
I'm passing around.
You think it's confusing?
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
This is probably the way like Google or something would send you.
They always get lost in it.
They just think we need to work on the directions. I don't think it's called Darrell Road anymore. Off 72, but Darrell. I think they changed the name. Darrell's Road. Yeah. I don't know, 66. Like 288 in the town. So, I'm just saying before we pray, we need to make sure we get the direction.
Okay, all right, we'll see the directions.
Make this, yeah, we need to make this.
Well, why don't you put a marker where you want, what you think it should be changed?
Okay, well, I will.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Pass it, yeah, give it to Sam.
Or do Palat.
He hasn't seen it.
Yeah. Laugh out.
Yeah, we pick up these directions, make this a bigger picture. That makes sense, make this and that a bigger picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then when they get into Mansfield, we don't need to work on it right now.
Right. Well, we've got time.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're gonna put in your GPS.
There is no physical address at the park. Nope.
Should be.
There's not a residence, you can't get an address. Right, is that correct?
No, it's a parcel.
Tony,
Not physical
you cannot get it, you cannot get,
Not a physical address at the park.
you can't get a physical address.
There's a consumer's power
They can.
Residence or
address,
something at it.
and that's what you have, but otherwise there's not one.
Well, you do the street addresses in town,
Well,
No, Tony's on the street.
Tony doesn't, I don't do it.
in town.
Yeah, I don't do it
And they will not fish one to the park, correct?
Right, we went through this already.
There is not one there, and that's one of the
I tried-
biggest problems we have.
I tried to get one for UPS delivery.
What would be the next concession number, consecutive number from across the street?
That's something we should work on before we do that, though, so we can Google if they have an address to.
You could just Google Central Lake, it'll bring you right.
It takes you to the middle of town.
Right.
Because we have a
If you
service
want
address
the
for
public
the
address, then you get.
Okay.
the park
We can-
address.
so
We can supply a physical.
We have a physical address. to
Put the
park.
closest physical address to it on there.
Right,
At least your GPS would bring you to that.
correct.
If you can't see it from there, you probably shouldn't be driving.
Don't put that on.
Oh, I think that would be good.
So we will come. I guess
We've already got it.
I think,
that's the pricing, right?
well,
Okay.
I've got revisions.
Yep. That we can-
No.
Okay. Any questions for Leland?
Wow.
Leland?
Okay, Sam.
We'll move on to the president's report. At the planning commission meeting last night, it was decided there would be a public hearing on the zoning of signs in the village. That hearing will be on October 9th at 6:30 p.m. Planning commission is going to address signs. The planning commission also brought up a sidewalk plan, which Sam and I talked about too, which Julie has talked about, so when, just so that when we go into our next budget year, we will truly be, we'll have a sidewalk plan, sidewalk money. I can't tell you how much it'll be, what will get done, but we truly are working on developing a sidewalk plan with financing, with what we have at hand. We'll address that at budget time. There was discussion on the planning commission about members on the planning commission, so we're aware we're still looking for members. They decided to give it some more time to see if we get some more public input.
Can I ask, how many do they need?
5.
5 total?
Five.
Okay.
Correct. The planning commission is also willing to, as we all know, that Scott addressed it, there's lots of discussions about blight and issues like that within the village. We really need to have some discussions about that. I think the planning commission should deal with that, hold the public hearings on it, and bring recommendations to the council. The planning commission will be willing to do that at a later date. Part one of our EVIP program, Economic Vitality Incentive Program, is coming up due. It's the financial part of it. Joe's agreed to work with me on it, so we will pick a evening and get it done, because as usual, once you figure it out, they change it for the next year. So we expected that. There was a meeting during the week, I don't remember what night it was, Corey, to tell you the truth, for see if they can find, if Corey wanted to find people interested in being on a DD board, so that meeting did happen.
Like 2 weeks ago.
We'll talk about it later. It was talked about at the planning commission, and I'm in no way saying all these boards are in place. The planning commission feels, and so do I, that at some point the council, the planning commission, the chamber, the DDA, if it's approved, then we have a board, should set up a conference and maybe get somebody through the MML from Michigan State University or something, they use them a lot, that can truly sit down with that group of people and explain to them their functions in government, because there's a lot of confusion, I think, within the village about who takes care of what, who's expected to, how you work together, how you don't step on each other's toes. So that's just an FYI. At some point, the planning commission is willing to go through with that, and I think other boards would be too, but we'll discuss that at that time. All the departments, the DPW, the clerk's office, and the police department are going through a 2-week time study. So for 2 weeks, they're writing down what they do during the day, so we have something in our files. I think it's just a good practice. It gives us something to look at when we realize, do we need more DPW? I think it's just a good idea, and they were all more than willing to do it, so.
You must have been in a different spot than I was.
Some things take a little time. More than one. Go to Wentworth. Yes. Oh. Do we have the banners? I know nothing about it.
I hope you took lots of notes.
We have a slight delay. Technical difficulties.
What day is it, public hearing?
October 9th at 6:30. It's the same evening as the regular planning commission meeting, half hour prior to it. See why they want me in charge of it? It's done. Anything else? Don't have to hit record or anything? As Lyle said, the campground seems to have had a very good year. So thanks a lot.
That looks good.
It's gonna be going good. Yep. It's already been addressed. I want to thank the DPW for the job they have done. I really do. I think it's noticeable that we have another part-time person. They've been really doing some good cleanup on the hillside. Water meters repaired. So I think it's been working really good. Other than that, I have nothing. Any questions? Move on to approval of bills. I accept the motion to approve bill payments in the amount of prepaid, $29,358.49. Payroll of $6,017.89. Payables in the amount of $17,859.90. For total approved bills of $53,236.28.
I make a motion to approve the bills. To pay the bills.
Motion by Chapman, support by Fair. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Batterby?
Yes.
Chapman?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Thayer?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yep.
Ricky?
Yes. Approved. We will move on to new business. Leland, clerk.
Yeah, you have a copy in your paperwork. We worked on this summer. We had a meeting with the Parks Committee. We decided this was a real good way to go. And so far, Lyle has been following it as much as he could, and it's been paying off. There is one thing that we would like, we have talked about, and I don't know how you would consider it or not. It goes down, in May, it's hardly anybody there. And after the 4th of September or the Labor Day, it drops down too. And if there's a possibility that we could get more people, especially your older ones, to come in at those times and maybe stay longer, to drop the price a little bit on those particular times.
So a non-peak type of thing?
Yes, mm-hmm. I mean, you have resorts that do the same thing. We could do the same thing with a park, and I think it would profit us to do so. Because you're still paying the same wages and you're still paying the same bills. But if we get it sort of sorted out a little bit, so your older people a lot don't like to get in there during the peak season, but they would accept it more if they could have a chance to get a break. Let's face it, they're not as well equipped with money as our younger ones are. But I want to have a meeting with the park committee again, possibly at the end of September before Lyle gets ready to leave. Okay? Thank you.
Any questions for Leland?
I see you got the removal of red flag on that.
Yeah, that threw a lot of people away.
Okay. I don't know if that, from the technical people, is that something that can be done?
That
Yeah.
Joe had it removed in May for about 2 weeks there. He removed it and then had it put back on right after the 1st of June. It can be removed, and I don't see any reason for it.
Well, I looked at it and I can see what you're talking about, you know, if I were just not knowing anything about either campsites or campgrounds, if I see this red flag that says it may not be available, and, you know, if you read the whole thing, you can see that it's.
That's correct.
Kind of contradicts itself, but it's only stating the obvious. If Mother Nature washes all the beach away, we're not going to have any beach sites.
Right.
But
I don't think it does.
But, you know, if it's not necessary to have that, if it isn't illegal.
We're gonna lose out one way or the other. We take and
I think you're right.
have four nights on a weekend. It's gotta be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And leave on Sunday. We're gonna lose the front part of the week anyway. People come in on Sunday and they wanna stay for 3 or 4 days. If you got somebody already backed up on Wednesday, you're gonna have to say, well, I'm sorry you can't be there, you know?
Okay.
Why take and restrict ourselves? I think this is something that I, as a manager, ought to be able to take and put in there. There was times there that I couldn't use that on the weekend. There was times, and you guys probably didn't realize it, but I fudged it in there. In order to fudge it in there, I had to take and put a reservation in for, say, Wednesday through Sunday, and then once they got on site, modify the reservation. So we did take two-night, three-night rental for weekends when I didn't have any other choice. Those lake sites sat empty a lot in May and first part of June. And most of June. They didn't fill up until July on the lake sites. I had a couple of lake sites empty for Labor Day.
You think that's because of the weekend there, the 4-day restrictions?
Well, yeah, if they go in online to make reservations and say that they gotta have a 4-day night stay like on Labor Day, that was the weekend, and you gotta have 4 days. They just didn't take and book it anyplace else. And I'm not gonna know that. The only time I'm gonna get a chance to rent those sites out if somebody drives in and says, all right, I want a site, you know? So when they go online and they see that there, they have to rent for 4 days, they're gonna turn us away anyway. So I think we're just hurting ourselves.
Park committee should really consider those things and bring back a recommendation. I think.
Well, I think as a member of the park committee, I think we should wait, look at all the data that our new website's gonna offer us, and then compare apples to apples.
We're not gonna get any data this year.
And I realize we're not gonna get last year's data because it's not online, but
No,
we can
we're
still
not.
look at this year and say, okay, we have some concrete evidence to reinforce what you're saying, and we can actually go over some things and look at revenue as compared to last year.
Our revenue is gonna be up because we've increased the rates by 30%. We dumped that $2 discount on the 14-day stay. So it actually, instead of raising it 25%, we went up 30%. So our revenues should be up, which they are. So there is no real comparison in this.
We compare the number of people during the number, just how many people we had coming through the doors from last year to this year, could we not?
I would have to take and go back and count all those cards.
Let's do that.
I gotta go back and count all those cards.
We lost
Right
some.
now, we got 400 reservations for the year, right now.
We lost
plus-
some of our old customers because of that. They got furious, didn't they?
Who did they complain to? I heard not one complaint on the park this year. I was so pleased with the park because I honestly heard
They
no
were-
complaints on the park.
They talked to Lyle.
The complaints was coming in down there, and basically it was over the red flag and the reservation system itself. The notification on the reservation system, I should say. The complaints on the reservation system that I got, and I've talked to Corey about it, is a timed out situation, and that normally takes place when they use a cell phone to make reservations, this type of thing. It's an operating type complaint. But the notification, the way it was set up this year and everything, we got a lot of complaints on the notification from regular people. There's, I dare say there's probably 20, 25 regulars that didn't come up this year because of that situation with the way we handled reservations to start off. And that's gonna happen. I mean, you put that out there and we didn't notify the people like we probably should have.
I
think
do
really-
have some information that might be pertinent. I put an article in the paper this month. In August, on a Saturday, I went down to the campground and interviewed about 20 campers, pretty much every camper on the Lower Bowl. By the way, my background is as a survey researcher, so this is the kind of thing I've done. And they all mostly liked the Wi-Fi. They were okay with the reservation system, but not too great on it. A lot of them rather just call Lyle. They all love Lyle, and almost all of them hated the 4-day system. Some of them, there's one camper who has been coming there 58 years, and he said that this has definitely cost you money. He said he knew of a camper that's been coming there 14 years, and they said they'll never come back again because of it. Everyone, they hated it. Hate it. I mean, as strongly as a consumer can hate something, that's what they hate.
Thank you.
I agree with Rob. I don't wanna make any decisions until the park's closed and we pull our reports to see what occupancy the park was. And we can do it without our system now.
And I don't doubt that it's a bad system, that the system is flawed right now. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. Let's look at the data and disaggregate the data and move on.
Well, I guess at this point, Rob, it kind of leaves me disenchanted for the fact that we had a committee meeting down there and we had agreement to take and move forward on this. All I'm asking for is revert back to the old ways on our rules, like the 4-day, and go to a deposit on our reservations instead of requiring a full ante up. I don't think we ought to take and go with a $6 deposit like been suggested. I think we ought to have a 4-day minimum if they're gonna be 4 days or less. Anything over 4 days, I think we ought to go with a $100 deposit and get the rest back here. Make it as easy as possible for our people and carry on with this. I think we were not handling reservations right to begin with. It was a lot of work. This is a whole lot easier. Take these restrictions off and leave me run the park.
I agree.
And I think that was a consensus of the committee.
It was.
And
Well, we talked about it at the meeting. Rob.
this is why I'm being disenchanted on this point.
I don't disagree with you again, but we have from now, till next year to make a decision.
I'm not.
And I'm not saying that you're wrong at all.
I'm not saying put everything in place right now, but I would like to have a decision on it before I leave for here, or for home.
When do you leave?
Third weekend in October.
So it'll be after our October meeting.
Yeah.
All right, so then we have between now and the October meeting to sit down.
Well, we'll have to
Look
have
at
it in
data.
September before our board meeting.
Hey,
That's why I say I want the last week of September. Okay?
I can take and pull you up some
That's all.
stuff concerning those lake lots. That will be about as much as I can pull up until Corey and I have a chance to go over some of these reports and stuff that we're getting here. I'm not satisfied
I'm
with
sure
the
Corey's more than
reporting
willing to help
stuff.
us.
Huh?
Corey just nodded yes, he's gonna help
Yeah,
us.
so, you know, I can get some of that history for it.
Good.
It was whatever
Layla?
the Parks Committee decides.
Yeah, but, yeah.
So, in conclusion here, we're gonna have a meeting prior to the October board
Right.
meeting with Lyle, with the data,
Yeah.
with Corey.
Yeah.
Or if Corey supplies us with enough data, we can go from there.
Yeah.
All
We
right?
can have it either here or we can have it down at the park.
Yeah, either way.
All right.
It depends on the weather.
Yeah.
Whether we can have it down at the park. Okay.
Is that good with
Okay.
you, Lyle?
Yeah,
All right, good.
I would make a motion to table these requests for 1 month.
I'll second that.
Motion by Ruby, support by Tyler, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Thanks, Lyle.
Thank you.
As we go on, or you all have a quite thick packet, so I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail on it. James Schmidt requested FOIA material months ago.
Oh, yeah.
He received it, refused to pay for it, the 7 bill refused to pay for it, so we issued a claim to the small claims court for $45 for payment. To the best of my knowledge, he is now claiming discrimination and brought a lawsuit against bills for approximately $25,000. And the court granted him a pretrial conference on October 1st at 9 a.m. My recommendation, and Brian Graham's recommendation, is that we involve Brian Graham and have him go to the pretrial conference.
knowing him, he would, if he didn't,
I'm not gonna assume anything other than
October 1st is the pre-trial.
pre-trial conference. They granted a pre-trial conference
where?
October 1st at 986 District Civil Court. You have all the paperwork, I have all the paperwork Brian has, everything we've sent from the courts. I dropped it all up at Brian's this morning so he would have it. He's waiting our decision. There's an affidavit in there that he sent to the courthouse.
He's asking to have it removed from small homes.
That's been granted too, and then he's sued for, that's the way I see it, and Brian Graham now, he's asking for $25,000 in damages because he was discriminated against for, I don't know. You have the affidavit, a bunch of it just is, it is what it is. I recommend we do, Judge Phillips recommended we have an attorney present.
Make him pay for all the costs.
Well, that's not gonna happen. This is gonna cost the village money, like we said right along. This is what he's done to every other community he's ever lived in, so it's not a shock.
No. That's sick, I think he's making money off of this.
Did you see his affidavit? He says something about why he feels he's discriminated against, but that's for him and the court to figure out.
Claims he's legally blind, and he's,
You can claim anything you want to.
well, he's definitely, because he's not blind, I know that.
I would accept a motion to allow Brian Graham to proceed as our legal representative in this case.
I'll support
I'm
that.
accepting the motion. Motion by Chapman,
Yeah, I'm
support by
supporting.
Clark. Do a roll call, please.
Yes,
Chapman,
Yes.
Clark,
yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. C is a policy of delinquent utility accounts. Once a year, the village can turn over delinquent water and sewer bills to the county. For payment, the county pays us, and then they collect it in, they assess it to their tax roll. Every year it comes up, we truly don't have a set policy on it. What bills do we turn over? I think we should set a policy. Do we turn them over when there are 2 billing cycles due? Do we turn them over when there's 1 billing cycle due? I think for years it's been when they seem terribly exorbitant, we turn them over. I think we should have a little better policy than that. So,
What do other communities do?
I truly don't know. I mean, I would guess it'd be all over the place, you know, some bill monthly, some may take any billing. I truly don't know.
Almost anything generally is 30 days. Whether it's a credit card, car payment, house payment, whatever.
Let's see, it comes up, yeah, they're quarterly billed.
Right.
So if we want to say everything that is due at that time we turn over, if we want to say 1 billing cycle behind, 2 billing cycles,
Will the county take them?
the county takes whatever we send them that is delinquent, and they issue us a check.
Well, if they don't pay their bill and the next bill's due, I should say that's when the first one should have been. So give them that much time to pay it, pay both bills at the same time.
But there's only one time of the year you can put them over on taxes,
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
Yeah. They could truly get 3 billing cycles behind.
Yeah.
Only one
Before
day
you
a
could
year
roll it
you
over.
turn them over. It's, I think sometime in June, I believe, but I don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
whichever way you wanna do it, whichever way is the most economical for us. I just hate to see people pouring money and not paying it.
Is there any difference in how you bill them, which would be better to do? If they're
I don't think she's
cheaper
been
or-
here at the point we turn them over yet, have you? Is what I
Yeah.
wanted.
But how can we turn them over, say now, when taxes?
We can't, there's a
Can't
date they allow us to.
Okay.
And at that date, there we have, I think we need a policy, that if we look at it, my opinion is we need to say, if it's one billing cycle, if it's, we can say if it's delinquent, it goes on. On that date, your water bill's delinquent, we put it on a tax roll.
You basically only got about a 5-day window to put them on tax
Yeah,
roll.
we
By
can
the time
say-
the county notifies us and says, you got any delinquencies you wanna put on. There's about a 5-day window to put them on, and that's it, once a year.
What if they got their water shut off?
But we can
Is
send
that
them
legal?
anytime.
We can shut their water. I personally, I don't like the idea of shutting the water.
I don't either, but
I don't like it at all.
why are people, are the same ones delinquent all the time?
I don't wanna know. I don't know and I don't want to.
What does the county do with renters?
With renters, it goes to the owners. Responsible. It's okay by me if we table it till next month and I can talk
Get
to
the water
Sam more and
committee.
Rachel more and we can see how the timing plays out. Personally, I wouldn't wanna see somebody who forgot to pay that one water bill, all of a sudden get it dumped on their taxes. That's my personal thought. If they're,
And if they're paying on it.
If they're- well,
paying
They're
the
paying
tax.
it, that's the difference.
well, that's what I wanna talk to Rachel about, how easy it is to keep track of that. You know what I mean? I just think, I think what we've been doing probably works. I think it's fairer if we have a policy, so if somebody says why, you can say why. I just think it's. So,
And what is our policy
what is our policy now?
right now?
That on that date, the clerk brings forward the ones that have been decided to turn over.
And I think this last month was anything over $200.
Yeah, I think that's how they made the
Oh,
decision
no,
last
how
time.
much?
I just think as a council, we should set that, so. I'm okay with tabling for a month, we have a lot more information. Nothing we have to determine tonight, but maybe something to think about, and maybe thoughts, let me know. I'll talk to Rachel more. And see how easy it is to track it, you know what I mean? Is it easy to track if they're 2 billing cycles behind or one?
No.
If it was 2 billing cycles, it's
It's
due
just that I
6
know
months.
I've gotten gold when I paid.
So you want to table that?
If the council wants to table, I think maybe by next month we can have better information. It gives us a month to think about what we do. Fair. Okay, table. All in favor of tabling C? Aye.
Aye.
All right. D is our FOIA policy. You have a copy of the Attorney General's opinion, I believe, on freedom of information there. I hope I got everybody to put out so much.
What's it look
The
like?
state of Michigan, Frank J. Kelly, right at the top here. Yep. Did I not pass it off?
I don't have
Nobody
it.
has
I
it?
don't have it.
Okay, that's good. I will read to you what it says, okay? It's opinion number 6977 dated April 1st, 1998, from the state of Michigan, Frank J. Kelly, Attorney General. Collecting fees under the Freedom of Information Act. Once copies of documents have been prepared pursuant to the FOIA, a public body may require that its fees be paid in full prior to actual delivery of the copies. However, a public body may not refuse to process a subsequent FOIA request on the ground that the requester failed to pay fees charged for a prior FOIA request. In my opinion, we can charge a fee before we release the information. If you go anywhere else, I've called many places myself, if you don't pay, they will not give you the information. We've been releasing information and asking to pay, and that's truly what got us on the road around with Schmidt. It just, I think, my opinion is, we should go with that policy, that no information is released until we pay for
that deal with the indigent? Unable to pay?
If they provide, that's a whole other statute. If they provide proof of indigency, they are forgiven the first $20.
How do we set the rates for,
Right now, we charge 25 cents per copy and actual time spent at it based on their hourly wage. So if Sam has to deal with it, or Scott, or Rachel, they have a chart in there of what it actually costs us for them per hour. So if they spend a half hour, it's charged. If they spend an hour, it's charged. Are you okay with the policy? Will be
COD, cash and delivery.
There you go.
okay. We will proceed with it then. Burning of leaves. It's always been, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, policy in the village for a long time is we don't want leaves. I've talked to Scott about it, and that's kind of, and I think Bill can attest to that, that's pretty much been, it's, in our ordinance, it leaves a little room for misinterpretation. I think we can clean it up a lot. If I think you all have a copy of the nuisance ordinance. If we amend our nuisance ordinance, chapter 8, chapter 8.2, subsection H, that if we want to not allow the burning of leaves, I think we should include in there very plainly, we should add yard clippings, leaves, and brush. Yard waste, leaves, and brush. The DNR already bans burning of brush and burn barrels. They do not ban the burning of, I think they were just long clippings and leaves banned.
Sam?
So I just think it's a lot clearer for everybody.
Didn't
If that's what we choose to do.
burning leaves right there in
If
that
we want to let
policy,
people burn leaves,
then why would it be any different?
I'm okay with that too. I'm just, I think we.
We're not allowed to burn any, Sam's not allowed to burn any leaves at all in that pile up there. So he's in the village, so what difference would it make?
It's a collective burn pile.
That's-
There's a whole different set of rules from the DEQ, DEQ got involved in that,
Yeah.
but it being a collective burn pile.
When was that ordinance passed?
Which one?
The ordinance against burning?
I'd have to go back
Brush
and
and
look,
leaves.
really, I'd have to go back and look. Way before my time.
Because
This
we
is way back in
called
the village
on
code.
it, when we first moved to Central Lake in '95, everybody burned. Everybody had a burn can, everybody, I have a home that has a built-in fire pit. And I mean, it's a big fireplace. It was built turn of the century out of cobblestone. And I've always burned my leaves in there. And all of a sudden now, since 1995, I've been doing things against the law. And nobody said anything to me. None of my neighbors have ever said anything to me. People that I lived next door to a woman that was in her 80s and lived here all of her life. And she never said anything to me about ever having a ban against burning leaves. And all of a sudden now, we're finding out, oh geez, I've been breaking the law for 18 years. That's nice to know. What are we going to do now when we have everybody in our neighborhood who doesn't take care of any of their leaves and they're all blowing on my yard? And I like a nice clean yard. I don't like all of those leaves blown in my yard. What am I supposed to do with them? I don't have a truck. I don't have, you know, a DPW truck or anything that I can load up with a ton of leaves every week and take down to the dump with my garbage. I just don't have it. So I'm looking for an alternative.
That's what we're looking for, because we'll also get the same people that say their neighbors burn leaves and it bugs the heck out of them, and they want it stopped because they smolder and they don't like the smoke in there and oxygen. There's no good answers, what I'm saying. There's gonna be your side and the other side.
And there's a
They're just-
difference in how people burn leaves too. And you burning them in your outdoor barbecue pit there or whatever, probably you're burning them with an updraft and they're not smoldering for days.
It's going up, but I understand, you
You're not
can't
burning
control,
the
you know,
tar
that
and the
everybody in the
asphalt.
village has to build a fire pit like
So-
I have built. No,
Well,
I understand.
I'm getting to why your neighbors don't complain because you're not a nuisance. The next guy, he says, well, he can burn, so can I. He burns on the ground a pile of wet leaves that smolder for days. His neighbor complains a lot. So normally, you don't get somebody coming there and tell you can't do that until you get a complaint. That's normally when myself or Scott or somebody is there when you get a complaint.
Do I complain then about people's homes that are so untaken care of with grass that's, 3 feet high and tons of leaves?
When we get a complaint, we respond.
Oh, you've had a few from me. I think people know Julie Marks that for the village.
My question
Because,
is,
I mean, we're looking at a house like that, right across the street from us. That the grass, if our neighbor hadn't gone across the street and cut the grass in the end of June, 1st of July, it would be up 3 feet. And nobody does anything. I've called the realtor, I have a mouth. And the village, I mean, I've called you and said, isn't there something you can do about this lady with her 3 acres of property that nothing's done on it? But now you're saying that nobody can burn. There's gonna be so many leaves on West State Street that nobody's gonna drive down the road, because I'll tell you, this really makes me angry, because both my husband and I are in our 60s, and for us to stoop down and bag leaves, we can't do that anymore. Okay, and I can't afford to have a lawn maintenance guys come out once a week and clean up all the leaves that we got, because it's tons. So I'm hoping the village is gonna come along and say, we're gonna clean them up for you, like they do downstate, where they swoop them
All
up.
a matter of money.
Well, it's
Nothing
like
free.
everything else, it was a matter of money when you tore up my sidewalk.
Absolutely was, absolutely was a financial
You know,
decision.
and now it's a matter, but the problem is that I'm sure there's a lot of other people besides us that physically cannot do that. It's easier to rake the leaves and down by the creek there where we burn. But to stoop over and bag 100 bags, which we would have or more, and try to get them to the dump, forget it. I'm not doing it.
what about the Boy Scouts or the football team? Don't they, I remember when I was in Cub Scouts, we used to go around and rake people's yards and stuff. Does anybody still do that, or? The other question I have is, are we talking about just burning leaves? You're not saying I can't have a campfire in my backyard?
Allowed campfires, absolutely allowed campfires. You can't burn your garbage in.
Right.
No,
Yes,
we don't.
you can
Right.
have campfires.
So, but you're saying the leaves are out, but then, you say it's from the smoke and the smolder or whatever. What about people with outside furnaces? That smoke and stuff annoys me too. So we gonna ban them?
That's another issue that many communities are involved in right now, making decisions.
And if you got a fireplace, it's gonna create smoke. I do see it that the people that are on oxygen, they don't want it, I see the dilemma. But I just wanted to make sure that.
Can we go back to Dave's comment? Do I understand it correctly, then campfires are allowed?
Sure.
Okay.
I just don't want you burning your garbage or your leaves because
I've
it
never burned
creates.
garbage, but I'm in the financial services business. I have over 1,000 clients. I have confidential information that I have to get rid of every month. I burn. That's what I use the fire pit
If
for.
if the DNR catches you burning paper or rubbish, the DNR has banned it. That's not the village, that's the DNR, the state. So you can't get mad at us over that. The state has banned the burning of basically everything except leaves and lawn clippings.
But you're banning the leaves.
We're discussing it.
Okay.
That's all I
There's
said.
not
is
a
we're
ban in
going-
effect, oh, wait, I thought you said it was, it says,
I said that we have enforced not burning of leaves.
Right.
Our ordinance truly, I don't think, is very clear on it. That's what we're discussing. If the council decides we want more public input, I want whatever the village wants, believe me. I'm afraid it's gonna be a 50-50 split, and you know what happens? Eventually, we're gonna get stuck making a decision that some people don't like. Are we gonna make it tonight? I, right now, doubt it, okay? But I doubt it.
So we can burn right now. Since you haven't, well, you haven't made a decision, that means we could burn right now in our pit.
Can you see anywhere?
Okay, I have a question for the officer. How much is the fine?
What's that?
How much is the fine if you burn?
Seriously, you're gonna ask a question like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask the question like that.
So that you're aware of it before you get.
That's right.
Which just puts you on notice, but. I hate to ask that question, but yeah.
I wanna know. Because this is just ridiculous.
Was I understanding him right, and he was saying that it's not unless you get a complaint, once the complaint comes through about the burning, then you would get a fine?
No, that's normally when you get a visit.
What, that's when you get a visit?
Yeah, normally we don't invoke a fine. That's not what, personally as fire chief, that's not what I'm in business for. Just, I don't want your neighbor with a, emphysema sitting there suffering because your smoke is blowing across them, or the other neighbor's got their clothes hanging out and they're complaining. And we live so close together that it's very hard to say blanketly that you can burn leaves, because it's not safe. It just isn't safe. Very few people have the knowledge, the abilities to extinguish a fire before it gets off of their property. And when you're living this close together, it's pretty hard for me to say.
It's hard, and
it's
I understand
okay
their
for you.
concern, but from a law enforcement perspective, and probably from a fire perspective, we get all sides of it, and we get people that are complaining both sides of it, and there is no good answer. But the problem is, the comment was made, it's a lot convenient to do that. Well, it's a lot more convenient not to mow your grass, and it's a lot more convenient just to throw your trash outside. But when we live in a small community, such as we do, so close to each other, you gotta look at the best interest of the village as a whole, and it's hard. We live in a kind of a small bowl effect of a town, and everything just lingers. And I can physically drive around and I can smell trash 4 blocks away. I mean, it just.
But I'm not
lingers
burning
around.
trash.
Well, the problem is, it's not that, it's just the other stuff that's burning. They're gonna talk about other solutions, about vacs and stuff like that, but I think people are just getting so upset about things that, instead of looking at different solutions and stuff.
I right now would like to move beyond that for now. And I'm not ready to make a decision on banning the leaves. I wanted to bring it up. That's why it's under new business. I want to talk about it.
but we can still take them up to the recycling center, right?
Yes.
That's up to the township. I can't, I'm not gonna, maybe Bill can.
The last township meeting, they decided, yes, you
They
can.
will take
They
leaves.
let?
They will take your leaves and your brush.
Okay, all your brush too up there?
Is there a
Brush
charge?
has to be in 6-foot lengths.
Is there a charge, Bill?
There is not.
Oh, okay.
They'll take them on the normal days, normal,
Right.
Tuesday and Saturday.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
We'll take it.
Table it?
Just wanted to bring it up because we have, we're gonna work. Hopefully the last time we talked about it, so we're being. Yeah, I'm gonna schedule it now, but.
No, but I think it's a good idea.
You should spell it out a little better, not too starving.
Well, we can't alter it. We can't now.
Not now. It's not now.
If that's what we choose to do, but I'm not ready to make that.
So you just amended an order
To amend it to banning during the day. I'd like to just table it for at least. You'll be involved. We need to know where we're truly at.
Good idea, then we can go do Bel Air.
Item F. A lot of communities, all on the same topic, truly go around and pick up leaves by a leaf vac or something twice a year or in the fall. That's an option. It's a, the same price the leaf vac is $14,000. So if that's an option the village residents seem to like, that's another option we have, that in the fall, we pick whatever 2 or 3 days a week, you rake them out to the curb, the village sucks them up. Like, we're just looking for options. Yes, Dan.
Does that vacuum machinery have a mulching option, like an attachment or something?
I
Because
believe it mulches the leaves as it blows it into the, it has a dump
people
trailer
might be
behind it.
interested in the mulch. It makes wonderful garden.
Yeah, because that's what we do now. Right now, any leaves in town, they do take them down, they're still allowed to do them. We have a mulch pile in the village.
Oh, can people access
Oh,
the
can we
pile
go
and use
down
it?
there?
Absolutely.
Oh, I thought it was
In the
blocked
village?
off, yeah.
It is now because of, it got chained off because we had to close the brush pile down so we can't burn it.
Uh-huh.
So until we educate people that they can't drop brush off there anymore, we just had to lock it off. But if you want, if you know when the DPW's working, Sam just left, so I'll say Sam will gladly go down there and open it up and let people get mulch out of it. By gladly, interpret that? No, I'm serious. We have a mulch pile there, it's been there for a long time.
We have a key also.
And he has a key, so when we find out a way that people will stop dropping brush off there, because what they're doing now is they're dumping it at the gate. And we knew that would happen, so it's a learning process for them.
So is there a place that we can take brush?
Brush up to the township transfer station.
Township, right up to waste receiving?
Yeah.
They've agreed to
The
take brush.
dump you're talking about.
Yeah,
The dump.
The dump.
Used to
I'm
be
sorry.
the dump, waste receiving.
Still,
So they require that it be in 6-foot lengths,
all
or
right,
no longer than that. It doesn't have to be exactly 6 foot, but it can't be longer than that,
well,
because they're gonna handle it up there.
So as F goes, it's an option. Once again, I think maybe we should discuss that. We should table it, discuss it, we'll get public input. I wouldn't want to spend, personally, I think it's a good idea, personally. I wouldn't want to spend $14,000 on a leaf vac and have everybody say, we don't want our leaves picked up. So we have to gain some input. Is it something people would use? And, you know, is it a good service? I don't.
what
Yes.
does that attach to? Is it something we already have?
The leaf vac that he looked at is it's the vac mounted on a trailer with an enclosed dump trailer as part of it. It
So
goes
they can
right
pick
in the
up a lot of
enclosed
leaves.
dump trailer, they can go down and dump it,
Right,
come back. And then when it's not being used, the leaf vac unit can be unbolted from it and it can just truly be used as a dump trailer if the village ever needs a dump trailer. But I think we need to gather a little more opinions. It's a lot of money to spend if it's not gonna be used. If it's gonna be used for the next 15, 20 years, I think it'd be great. Sam, I've talked to Sam about the DPW in the fall, usually has time, you know, when you go into the winter season, it's one of their slower times. Not that they do nothing, but they will find the time to come around a couple days a week. I don't know if it takes 2 days or 3. I don't know if people would use it, you know what I mean? It's all new to me. So, I get it. Yeah. So, we could schedule a public hearing tonight if we want to. I don't know if we're getting any of this addressed by this fall. Unless we had a public hearing and dealt with it at October's meeting, which is then right into the fall. By the time you order the unit, you're not gonna have it. We're gonna have to accept the fact that we're not gonna, this fall, we're gonna proceed the way we have. Yeah, that's just my opinion. Everybody disagrees. I just don't see how we can make it happen faster. And I'm not ready to make a decision on either of them tonight myself. So, as with the park, it gives us time to talk. We have all winter to discuss this, think about it, gain public opinions. input. Is everybody okay
Agreed.
with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we will get more information and we will gather public input. G is a bike lane on Old State. The county is going to be, along with the township, widening and redoing Old State from the village limits out to, don't me be wrong, out to how far is the county going?
Pardon?
How far is the county going when they do the project on Old State?
All the way out to Muckle.
Okay, so the lanes will be wider. The township has shown a great interest in helping the village put in a 3-foot wide bike path from the village limits into
Green Street.
Into Green Street. It would be on the east side of the road, right? A 3-foot wide paved bike path.
Actually, a 4-foot shoulder, 3-foot
Bike
path,
Path.
blacktop.
blacktop.
So you got 1 foot of gravel beyond.
Waffle side.
I'm correct on the right side of the road.
Yes. Yep.
From the village limits?
Because,
Pardon?
From the village limits?
We're just going from Green Street to the village limits.
okay, I figured I would be
In
wrong.
2014, the township's
Okay.
redoing State
Okay.
Street,
Okay.
and that's what they're doing.
There, we have 2 bids, one from Elmer's at $46,300, one from Reeve Riley for $48,675. Both companies said they could
Finish it, do it this year.
season. The township, they will have their meeting
We have a meeting Thursday night,
month.
and I believe the township is willing to go 50%
I
of
was
the
told
cost.
this proposal taken to
That's
the township
kind
will
of
be
what I'm
50%
gonna
of
ask
the cost.
And talk a little bit with Stan, and Stan's kind of in line with the same thing.
Yes, and that he will take it to their board.
Yep. I think this is a good opportunity to put a bike lane in and only for 50% of the cost.
Because we're unable to do sidewalks up there,
Oh,
which
yeah,
people
yeah.
would utilize, so that bike lane would.
Yeah, then, I think,
Walkers
and
would
Rob's
use
up
it
that
too
way, I
at
think a
the
lot of
same
bikes
time.
do come in town that way.
Quite a few, they go up interview like
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of bikes, whether you like bikes on the road, we have a lot of bikes coming to town, and they're good for the economy, they're just, they generate business.
Not to mention a place where people walk.
And they can walk on it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly, yeah.
Can you rollerblade on it?
Well, you couldn't.
Because it's not a sidewalk.
Why couldn't you? It's not a side, it's a road, yes, you could.
Can I? Probably not.
But not in a bucket.
Can one rollerblade on it?
Yes, I don't
It's
know.
not a sidewalk.
Wouldn't. I mean, the only sidewalks that are allowed on are pretty much the downtown area.
They rollerblade down the blacktop right now, so.
The only restriction would be no motorized mini bikes or anything like that, right? Quads or whatever.
What?
They would be allowed on there. Anything
attached to the
motorized.
Well, it falls under ATV rules.
Yeah.
So.
And is it attached to the road?
Pardon?
Attached to the road or something?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
attaches to the road.
Falls under highway.
Yeah, so ATVs aren't allowed to ride on the paved portion of the road right now, are they? Look at
No,
the shoulder.
So they can be extreme, right? So I can take it.
Right, sometimes they do.
Okay, then they could be on.
Yeah.
Is it a requirement, I missed part of that conversation, is it a requirement that we're doing the bike lanes by the state or somebody?
No,
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 no.
no.
Well,
The township expressed an interest in paying part of the cost of this. At the same time, not at the same time, but it all came about because they're gonna widen Old State going out of town from the village limits. So it'll be a nice time to create a nicer, wider bike lane for bikes coming into town too.
and what's our part?
What is the financial part?
The village, yeah, what's the village? part?
If we went with the lower bid,
$23,100.
bills would be $23,150. The total bid was $46,300, the cheaper of the 2 bids.
I guess I just wonder, you know, we're talking about the vacuum thing for 14,000. And a lot more people in town would rather use that, I would think, than a bike lane, though I ride my bike. But, you know, how many people in town, and I don't know if the budget for the bike lane can be, that money's dedicated to that from a line item that can't be used for the.
But we wouldn't be taking money on local streets to pay for leaf vac.
What a lot of people
Two
don't
different funds.
understand is we rent our own equipment from ourselves per hour, so we physically pay it back into an equipment fund to purchase additional equipment. So them funds don't have anything to
You
do with
could
the
use
street.
them for something else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Them funds are set aside for us to purchase new equipment.
So really has to be used for something like the bike lane or.
Right.
Local street, which is what that's
Street.
Right, street, yeah.
Now, you're talking about West State Street widening it?
East State.
East State?
East State Street.
It's east of town.
It's West State Road, East State Street, right? You changed it to Village Road.
Yeah. I'm not getting into that one. Too big.
It's out that way past the corner store.
That's the bridge.
So we're all.
That's where Green Street.
That's not us.
But I think that's where Adams
The other way.
Yeah.
Now, all of this is
Dangerous
actually
corner
west.
there for bikers, so.
Eastern State starts where Adams,
The village changed it, so you know that, right? We changed east to west, and all the property address.
in the village.
In the village, yeah, that's what we're talking
I
about.
know,
Yeah.
I know you're talking.
Okay, but we all know it's the road going toward Pleasant Valley.
East State.
Okay. Oh,
The two bids are, what, $2,300 a part. Have you any reason to not go with the Elmer's?
I've been in contact with both of them. They both appear to be apples for apples. Elmer's has done good work for the village. Ethan Riley's done good work for the village. At this point, it's up to you folks. That's about the best I can say. I don't have a reason not to go with either one. So,
Looks like they're about $2,300 cheaper than Elmer's is, and from reading the contract, it seems like they're doing the same thing.
they bid it off what we drew up for them.
The time constraints are, if you're either one, they'll do it this year yet.
neither one includes permits. I don't know what that costs to the village.
There's no permitting. That would be permits. If you had the county, then you'd have to get permits, which we're our own governing body, so there's no permits. Built to our specs. Tree removal, you'll see is in there, because there's a couple trees that gotta be removed. You know, driveways that gotta be cut, gotta be repaired. I don't think they missed anything.
But Elmer says 4 days complete. I don't see anything that said on there.
Yeah, it should take 4. I'm sure Ruth Riley's gonna tell you the same thing. Should take.
It might take
I
5.
think the two companies are apples to apples. I think we've used them both in the village.
Yeah, very good companies.
You can't say
Yeah.
good or bad about either one. They just tell them what's happening. Do cheaper bid this time.
We should go with Elmer's then.
I would think so.
Where's the big one?
I would,
Anything else we need?
yeah,
No, everything is apples for apples.
make it contingent on if the township passes it. Because I can't speak for the whole board.
I would accept the motion.
I'd like to make a motion to accept Elmer's bid on bike path for the 2,100 foot long in the village there on Eastern State.
Contingent on
Contingent on.
paying 50%.
That's the township had expressed that they would contribute to it, and it's my understanding that it would be 50%.
Okay.
I'll support it.
So we have a motion on the table to accept Elmer's bid of $46,300 contingent upon the township approving 50% of that cost to the township of $23,150 for the final cost of the village of $23,150. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Action items. Purchase agreement for 8096 West Old State Street.
You have the parliamentary procedure on H under new business.
Oh, not yet, I'm sorry, you're right. That was to, as I said earlier, this parliamentary procedures workshop.
Oh, H.
In H, I forgot, thank you, Denise.
Sure.
I think it would be good, and if the chair of the council went, the chair of the planning commission. If a DDA board is set up by then, I would say the chairman of the DDA board, I'm sure the president of the chamber could benefit from it too.
Just need the information.
Okay, that's what I said, it's a 2-hour meeting, I'll hand it to you, parliamentary procedure put on the Michigan State University and the Northwest Michigan Council of Governments. So I think we could all benefit from it. The cost of that, if we register within 1 week before the event, is $55 for the person. So I would like the council to approve an expenditure of $220 if all 4 of those people show an interest. So I would accept the motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Battery, support by Thayer. All in favor?
Aye.
Because it's within our budget, so I don't think we need a roll call. Yeah, I think it's good. So Susie, remind me after the meeting, and I'll. Thank you.
You charge me?
$5.80.
I'll give you 50 cents.
Okay.
Okay, on to action item. Item A is the purchase agreement for 8096 State Street. Brian Graham has drawn us up an agreement of sale. We agreed that we would offer this property to the adjoining property owners first. The 2 adjoining property owners were Donna Batterby and the First Congregational Church. I talked to Denise, I talked to Michelle Fox, Denise's sister, both Donna's daughters, and to Chuck Fox also, Michelle's husband. After they discussed it with their mom and everybody else, I received this letter from Michelle Fox. Dear Mr. Cruzy, after discussion with my mother, Donna Batterby, we are not interested in purchasing the property next to her home at 8106 State Street. 8106 State Street is Donna's home. Okay, we're talking about the property 8096, so they have no interest in purchasing. So that leaves us to offer to the First Congregational Church. They still have an interest in it, as we found at the board meeting the other night. So you'll have a copy of the agreement of sale. Basically what it's stating is that for $300, which the $300 came up with because that was Brian Graham's cost of writing this document, they will have the right to go in the house and remove the blighted conditions within 60 days. If they don't do that within 60 days, the property disagreement is null. If they don't get offered the property, if they're completed within 60 days, closing will take place at that point. The total cost to them will be $6,361.91, and that includes all costs the village has incurred on that property. Closing doesn't have to 60 days. Purchaser of agreement shall within 60 days remove the dwelling currently on the property, or shall repair the dwelling currently located in the property in full compliance with all applicable building health codes administered within the village. Yep. So, they will need to contact, I talked to the building department this morning, whoever purchases it will need to, at their expense, have somebody go in and tell them what it will take to bring it up to building code. The building department will not go do that. So that's on whoever purchases, what the church is, because they only are offering to at this point, First Congregational Church. That's their responsibility to find out what it constitutes to bring it up to building code. The health department will probably be going and taking a look inside, because as crazy as it seems, I went over today and the Village of Central Lake filed a complaint against the Village of Central Lake. Get the health department to go in the house to address the garbage, because we truly want somebody to say, if the garbage is gone, the health department's good. And the only way that could happen was to file a complaint. So.
Unless you had a complaint, nothing.
Well, yeah, they just, because there's no reason for them to go, you know what I mean? There'd be no reason for them to go, other than we know there's garbage in the house, and since it's gonna be somebody's responsibility to move it, everybody needs to know what that is. So are there any questions on any of it? So I would accept the motion to offer this agreement of sale to the First Congregational Church of Central.
I'll make that motion.
Support by Chapman. Do a roll call vote, please, Rachel.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And D is appointment of DDA board members, and I believe Corey has members to present to us.
I do. We met with the Northern Lakes Economic Alliance 2 weeks ago. Was it?
Somewhere back then.
Yeah, in which I had invited all the area businesses within the downtown development authority area as defined by the village code. And we had quite a good turnout, and I had quite a few people approach me afterwards to become a member of the development authority. And I can just give you the names.
If you could read the names off, yeah, we can start there.
I've got 10 business owners or interested parties. Martin Kirk from Pleasant Valley Auto.
It was time to write it. Okay.
Tom Kenning from Fudgies. Bart Patton, Patton Insurance. Lisa Hooksman, Mission Computers.
Can you slow down just a second?
Sorry. Just tell me you're ready.
Ready.
Corey Hooksman, Mission Computers. Michelle Fox, Bachman's General Store. Holly Kujawski, Wildflowers.
Can you spell it?
Kujawski.
Again, I'm sorry.
Kujawski.
K-U-J-A-W. We'll call her Kelly King.
Rob Huckle from Wildflowers.
Rob?
Yep, Rob Huckle. Randy Weiss, RW Energy. And Brian Reese.
And then I
What
have,
business does he have? I'm sorry.
I have to serve on the DDA according to DDA rules.
Randy, what were the last two? I'm sorry.
Randy Weiss from RW Energy.
Okay.
And Brian Reese.
So we have 11 potential members.
Does there have to be a certain number of
8 to 12.
8 to 12? Thank you.
Of which a majority must have an interest in the downtown area.
And 9 of those 11 do, I think,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Was it Kelly or Holly?
Holly.
Holly.
Anybody have any questions for Corey, discussion? Susie, I know you have some questions, so please ask.
Oh, okay. I just thought keep the liaison, open communication, again, just to repeat myself. I do not see a board member from the chamber, and I do not see a board member from the planning commission. Now, I know you wear many hats, and so you are on this one too then, which you need to be involved in. But those were my things. I didn't know maybe Miss Dooley would want to be on it from the planning.
She didn't, we talked about it, she didn't seem interested, and neither did Nate. So those are the only, and believe me, I agree. This isn't a set in stone board, even if they all are approved, it doesn't mean there's not room for more, it doesn't mean one of these, if there's more available, would say they would just as soon not be on it for the next 2 years. I mean, I think we all agree. We talked about ourselves, that's why we'd love to have this conference, everybody gets together. We need cooperation between any board that has anything to do with the village. Okay.
Isn't there also supposed to be a citizen representative if there are over 100 residents in the affected area?
But there isn't even close to 100 residents.
Oh.
I mean, I didn't, I bet there's not.
Okay, so you're going to make it exclusively business owners?
There is a
that
DDA
you'd like
district
to
already
have?
set up. There's a DDA area that's been set up since 1992.
Has it been active?
The DDA board hasn't, but the DDA area
Okay.
is already
Just
set
in the
up.
notification,
No.
it said create/reactivate
The
the
board,
DDA. And it's my
the-
understanding, I'm sorry, it was my understanding that there were some requirements as far as public notice and input, and
create-
citizen participation.
To create the DDA. We've had a downtown development area since 92, registered with the state. Northern Lakes Economic Alliance checked on it, they actually have the paperwork
Are
from
the
the Great
boundaries-
Seal of Michigan saying it's established.
Okay, so then in the presentation, are the boundaries of that area what were outlined?
Yes, that
That's the
was
existing
set up in
DDA
92.
area.
That can be changed. This DDA board can change that if they so desire.
But that's how they were as of 92?
That was as of 92 when it was originally set up.
Do you know how many residents live in that area?
I didn't truly count them because I knew it was way under 100. I looked just today, it was truly way under. The biggest majority would be because the condos across from Alden Lumber are, they weren't there at the time, but they now are within that area.
I just want to reiterate, I think it's really important to get a lot of public participation because anybody who lives in that area could be affected quite, extremely, for lack of a better word. The DDA actually has quite a significant amount of power. So I think it's really important that you guys actually get a lot of residential input.
I agree, and I think a lot of that work falls, the DDA then has to, DDA has no power until granted by this council as far as their plan. They have to come up with a plan. Then they have, if the council approves that plan, they have the right to act within that plan. But I think that the council shouldn't be doing a lot of this work. I think once the DDA board is set up, and I'm sure, that I hope that's their intent. I think it is from the meeting we had the other night. I think it's a good way for, thank you, Sam, a good way for the downtown area to get together, work together. Corey and I talked, this isn't gonna be, I don't see any money being raised off this to a tax increment plan. I think it's good to have it in place. Once again, something the DDA can discuss, but I think they're all well aware that they're truly operating on zero budget.
I also would like to say that since the initial meeting was apparently an invitation to just business owners, I think it would be a welcome idea to get in touch with some of the people who may not be business owners but are affected and that live in that area and see if they may also be interested in serving on the board.
I don't disagree, but I just think.
I think maybe tabling the vote for board members at this
Well,
point. I think that's a little
I think that's
premature.
something the DDA
It's just a
should,
little premature.
when we don't have a DDA board. So until we have a DDA board, the DDA can't reach out to people. I mean, first we
You
have to
can.
establish a board. The council doesn't want to serve the DDA, I don't, you know what I mean? So I think they
No,
are
but
responsible.
you're responsible, you're the manager of the DDA, that's your role as a
No,
village
no,
manager. You can reach out to
no,
people.
I'm the president of Village of Central Lake.
Yeah, but you actually oversee the DDA too,
No,
according to
the
what
council
read in the
oversees a
legislation.
plan the DDA comes up with. The DDA cannot come up with a plan until they have a board.
What I'm suggesting to you is that as a council member, or as a council, you appoint the board members.
Yes.
I'm suggesting to you that as a council, you reach out to residents who are living in that affected area and see if some of them may be interested in also serving on the board prior to appointing all the board members this evening. That's my suggestion.
Corey nodded yes.
Great.
Not a yes to.
I don't know that I nodded yes, but
Oh, I thought you nodded yes.
oh, I went with, I don't know, whatever you guys decide. It's truly your decision. Although the sooner we can start moving on something, the sooner we'll be in business, and the sooner we can start moving forward and doing something for the downtown area. Doesn't mean that we can't appoint somebody else at the next meeting.
No, that's good.
If we have interest, I mean, at that point, we can appoint somebody.
Is there still room for one more on that board? 6 or 7 have to have an interest in the downtown area. So we're truly talking about 3 other people.
I'd hate to lose the momentum
So when
that we've built with the downtown business owners. It's hard to get people to volunteer for anything.
Troy worked hard at it, really. He put together with Northern Lakes came over, people came, showed an interest. Corey spoke to more people in the downtown area, downtown businesses.
I went to everybody and left a letter or talked to them repeatedly.
How many people outside the business area are going to be affected? Just residents?
Nobody outside the DDA is affected by the DDA.
Okay, so, but that depends on how big of an area it is, right?
It's already established. It's,
Okay, so are there any residents in that area other
Yes.
than business?
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Those are the ones that then should be, like I said, people need to know things. They should be notified, every one of them, that there will be a meeting
From what
about
I've
it.
seen in the
and blah, blah, blah.
community, they know.
No.
No.
No, I didn't know.
I'm not gonna debate it. It's been highly debated, highly talked about.
It hasn't been discussed prior to this evening.
But that's what we're doing.
The Central Lake
Yeah,
News
so
was
that's
at the
not-
meeting.
You guys always say we haven't discussed it prior to this, and then if we discuss it prior to this, you'll be at the meeting saying you didn't discuss it prior to this.
That's not.
This is
even
the first
close to
time.
the truth.
That's
That-
not what we're saying. I'm
that
just
is
saying
exactly
the
how it
people outside of the business area should be notified.
People outside the downtown development
Right.
area are not affected by the downtown development
But
area.
I thought you just said
Residents
something
live in
about
Residents
condos.
Within the development area.
Right,
Can
so
be
they
affected.
should be notified
Can
that
be
they're in that development area. That's
your
what I'm
opinion.
saying.
Well, I think it's pretty.
You have to start
I second
somewhere.
that
You
motion.
have to start somewhere. You have to have a DDA board before you can do anything.
It's important to note that those people living in that area, their taxes can go up without any vote from
Right.
them by 2 mills.
Brad, you
Right
truly
away.
think that's gonna happen by the DDA?
I think it sure is a possibility.
You really do? You seriously do?
Absolutely.
Not from this
Absolutely.
board and not from the DDA. So seriously, it's that type of rumors that get spread around and get people enraged.
That's not a rumor, that's one of the things that's in the
fact that
power of the
You want to put out
DDA.
there that you feel the villages, that the DDA is gonna raise their millage
I
by
didn't
2
say that.
mills is.
I said that's within the
is
DDA's
so
power.
Wrong.
It's within the DDA's power.
And I think what he's saying
Absolutely,
is,
yes, but it's silliness.
I think what he's saying is it's within the power, so anybody living residentially in the DDA area, it needs to be notified
I
that
agree.
they're within that area, what's going on, what could happen. Not saying.
The
that it
DDA's
would.
been set up. It's been there since 1992.
It hasn't been active.
It's there.
But it's not been active.
Yes.
And it can't be active, it can't do anything without your approval.
Without,
So we're going in circles here.
that's what I'm saying. We have to have the board to go anywhere.
Yeah, so, there you go. Do the board, get the people.
I would accept the motion to appoint these members to the DDA board.
And how many spots do we still have vacant?
There was 1 at this point, 8 to 12.
Was the Chamber of Commerce officers invited to join?
They were invited to come to the.
They were here.
Northern Lakes Economic Alliance, right?
Susie was here, and so was Melissa Zelnak, Andy,
Yes.
and Marcy.
Yes, and they knew we were looking for members.
Yes.
And did any of them, did they sign?
Andy and Marcy did not.
Nobody showed an interest.
Nobody showed an interest.
Oh, really? I thought Andy did.
Nope, nope, so they
He-
were there. I
He
mean,
signed, said that he was here, but he did not show any interest whatsoever in the board.
Okay, and Melissa Zelnick?
I don't think she
She didn't
signed.
even sign the paperwork.
Okay, so my next question is, they're not on the board, okay?
Right.
We're having a meeting next Thursday, and that was when I was gonna say to the board, is there anyone that would like to represent the Central Lake Chamber and be on the DDA?
And there's 1 vacancy still on the board, correct?
There is.
Is there some way that that could be held available? I think that's very important that the Chamber of Commerce be represented on the Downtown Development Authority.
I think
So do I,
anything that
and-
involves the Downtown Development Authority should involve the chamber. I mean, even if there's not representation on the board necessarily, there should be partnerships involved. And I think that's kind of the job of the Downtown Development Authority, is to foster those relationships and build upon that.
But being a member of the actual board, I think would really cement that and show the Chamber of Commerce that, yeah, you're part of our team here.
Yeah, I would agree.
And, you know, I'd hate to see that spot filled and, oh, sorry, we can't put a member of the chamber on. It just doesn't seem logical. In all of the communities I've ever lived in, the chamber's always been very active in the downtown development authorities.
Now, I have a question. When they vote, or, you know, when there's voting in this committee, and maybe Corey knows this, I see that, well, out of 5 people, they're all related. So help me out. Is there bylaws already set up that these people can only have 1 vote?
Oh, I don't think,
Do you
Not that I know of,
Neither
but
the
I think
board,
we're gonna have a
so
hard
they don't
time
have
finding a lot of
bylaws,
people that
but
aren't related in Central Lake.
But husband and wife teams? I mean,
Well,
isn't that a-
regardless, there was husband and wife teams in 1992.
Uh-huh, yeah.
So, I
But
mean,
they
did
only
that
were
happen?
allowed 1 vote, I thought.
I'm not sure how that was set.
And I'm willing to do that. If we get enough people that actually show interest and take an active part in it, I'll give up mine and just be there. I don't mind that.
I just think it would be a good idea to have the planning commission, a person from the planning commission, and you've already said that neither one of them, but you have 2 spots open. It's sad that you haven't they haven't selected, you know, a couple people or 3 people to go on the planning commission. And I just think a board member from the chamber. But that's not my, that's not.
There were 4 at the meeting that showed 0 interest. So you say we don't reach out, we did. There was 0 interest.
They weren't chamber board members, they were chamber members.
Well, I think they're board members, some of them.
Is Andy and Marcy, are they actual board members?
No.
Or are they just on the chamber?
I thought they were on the website
Okay.
as board members.
Marcy might be.
Okay.
I think they both were, at least I thought they both were.
I don't know, that was just my comment, was the cohesiveness, well, we got sidebar conversations going on.
They done discussing? I'll make a motion that we.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I can save my comment for later. It's not gonna impact your decision tonight anyway.
I make a motion that we approve the list of individuals given to us by Corey and keep 1 additional spot open for a person from the chamber.
I'll support that. Motion by Tyler, support by Fair. Any further discussion on the board? Do a roll call, please, Rachel.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Thank you. Passes unanimously. That moves us to C. Sidewalk indemnification agreement. That's it, we will hopefully be coming up with sidewalk plans. There was a lot of controversy over the sidewalks. This is just another tool for us to use that was given to us by Brian Graham. Basically what it says is as a property owner, if we desire to let a property owner keep their sidewalk that we do not want to maintain because of the condition of it, we can allow them to do it as long as they indemnify the city of all responsibility, the village of all responsibility. It's all in front of you. They have to make any repairs to the sidewalk deemed necessary by the village. They have to keep reasonably safe to members of the public, perform ordinary maintenance, and they have to show that they have liability insurance on it in the amount of $1 million. So I'm not saying we're going to use it, I'm not saying we're not, I'm saying it's another tool at our disposal as you go to a sidewalk plan. I know $1 million seems crazy. That was the attorney and the insurance company's recommendation, that if somebody holds the village harmless by indemnifying them, if they truly have no means of doing that, it's a useless agreement. So that wasn't the figure we came up with, that was their figure.
I guess I'm gonna sound stupid here, but, you're saying that if people have kept their sidewalks, then they're responsible if somebody falls on it. But in the other hand,